Afternoon. How are we all doing? Afternoon, Road. Afternoon, Fletch. Soul Trader, Robert. How are you? Happy Friday afternoon. It's Friday afternoon. Love Friday afternoon. Weekend. Afternoon, Paul. How are we doing? Right. So today we've basically had a bit of a whippy morning. Afternoon, David. Happy Friday. Thanks for being you, as always. That's okay. I can't really be anybody else, so they're stuck with it, I'm afraid. Thank you very much, David. Much appreciated. What am I going to spend $10 on today? Got a lot of things I need to buy for the house, so it'll just go in the pot. Afternoon, comfortably crumbs. How are we doing? Thank you very much, David. Much appreciated. Right, so this afternoon we are off down at the moment, by the looks of things, on the European indices. Okay. So this morning, basically, FTSE broke short and stopped out. We didn't really go anywhere. We did have a second attempt at a breakout, which failed. So that was it this morning on the FTSE. The 15 minutes was it. The DAX, basically, we broke long and stopped out, then broke short and straight to target, and then the second half stopped out on a trailer. So today, basically, just break even morning. So we'll see how we get on with the US afternoon its time. So today, holy cow. Goodbye, Dow Jones. There won't be any trades on the Dow today. Whoa, what just happened to the industrial stocks? Interesting. So Dow Jones has just basically collapsed. NASDAQ and S&P not really doing anything. Wonder what's happened to the Dow. Let's just see if there's any news on any industrial stocks. Particularly exciting, is there? Something's definitely upset the industrial. Not quite sure what, but that's a hell of a move on the open. So that opening move there is 170 points. Max range is 18,105 at the moment, which is 40% of ADR. So there will be a trade on the Dow, although I can't see it managing to get an awful lot further than it is. So it's a bit of a risky one on the Dow today. Up to you if you want to take it. I'm at break even at the moment, so I might as well just take it if it goes. If it's come down that much at the open, obviously there's potential for a fairly hefty drop. So I want it to pull back ideally and then have a run out rather than just breaking straight away, because likelihood is it might pull back from that break. So we'll see where we go. It is pulling back at the moment. So we've got a Dow trade on. NASDAQ also. S&P range is too small on the S&P, so I'll be trading the NASDAQ and the Dow on the 5-minute breaks. Fair old bit of price action before the open there as well, look. So NASDAQ gets a slight gap up before the open and very big pre-market action. So something's upset the markets just before the open, but I can't see any news. We obviously had the housing starts at 1:30. That was it. Very weird. So today's news, we covered all of this from yesterday and this morning's live stream. So if you want to know about that, go and have a look at that. We've got Michigan at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So forecast for the Michigan is positive, which is positive dollar, which is negative indices usually. So we'll see what happens with those this afternoon, but that's all we've got. The Michigan numbers are very, 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 not risky, very volatile. So sometimes we get the University of Michigan numbers come out and the market does absolutely nothing, regardless of whether there's a deviation or not. Other times it will come out and it will go flying. So it's one of those events where the banks and the institutions, basically, if they want to get a load of volume executed and they need to, they'll use that time to do it because they know there's going to be more interest. but it's not something really that the market pays a massive amount of attention to from a directional bias. It's not a leading indicator. So we'll see what happens. It's just random, basically, most of the time with that one. So we could get some volatility coming through at 3 o'clock. Unusual for the market to hang around and wait for it because it's not something that's really impactive. Dow's really struggling to pull back as well. Look at that. It's a big move. So that range was 1700, 170 points, basically. 181 is 40% of the average daily range, which is anything over that in the initial ranges. I'm not really interested, because if the market's done 40% of its initial range within the first 5 to 15 minutes, it usually runs out of steam and you tend to get the market just kind of flip-flop around for the day. So yeah, but it's not looking like it wants to break higher, is it? We will see where we go. Right, so other than that, this afternoon, there's not really a lot else to look at from a news perspective. We have got quite a few ADR hits today. You've literally just had an alert on the Aussie dollar CAD. So that is a bit of a gap down, though. So I would class this as a broker candle. So not sure if that really is the average daily range. If we go up a little bit, if you take that off the broker candle and whack it on the top there, you're coming up to 125 ADR, which is where we went to as a high on Wednesday. That is this previous monthly level that the market reacted to on Wednesday. So that would be a good short. If we get 125 ADR or thereabouts today, there's a good short opportunity on the Aussie CAD. Drop down lower time frames, wait for a reversal alert to go in, and potentially nice little short opportunity. Aussie dollar US has also hit. There we go. So again, there's a bit of a broker gap here. So we gapped down, which they filled. It has actually gone above that, and it's gone into that monthly level. So this one looks like it's almost pretty much legitimate. It's done its average daily range, basically. So strong Australian dollar, strong New Zealand dollar today as well. So potential mean reversion opportunities. This is a lovely big propulsion gap here. Previous high. So that'd be a good target for the downside, which is going to be, once you get that reversal alert, it's going to be roughly 20 pips, which is probably around about a third of an ADR. New Zealand dollar CAD as well, same as the Aussie dollar CAD. These basically both doing the same thing. So basically the Asian markets today, very, very strong. The commodities basically pushing like mad. New Zealand dollar yen is also an ADR hit today to the upside, and New Zealand dollar US dollar. So as you can see, the main culprit here is the New Zealand dollar. Main reason is we've got the CPI figure coming out on Monday, basically Sunday night, but it's the first thing to happen on first news event to happen in the Australasian markets Monday for next week. They're forecasting the CPI to come down. The fact that they're buying the crap out of it on a Friday indicates that someone might know different, and that's probably going to come out as higher than forecast. So, yeah, big, strong New Zealand and Aussie moves. New Zealand US being the biggest one at 125 ADR. US dollar Swiss has also had a decent run today. Again, US dollar down, not massively. You can see the euro US dollar is up. The pound US dollar is up. So that is caused by Swiss franc strength. Again, Swiss yen pushed back up again today. Euro Swiss, Aussie Swiss. Not so much the Aussie Swiss, but because obviously the Australian dollar's been strong, so is the Swiss, so it goes sideways. But if you look at Euro Swiss, wherever that's gone, that's down as well. So a bit of money coming into the Swiss franc this weekend. So those are your ADRs. Aussie ones and the New Zealand ones potentially are probably the best mean reversion opportunities today. You're just about to get reversal alerts on most of these. So opportunities for shorts. There's a lot of weekly range hits. We are middle of Friday afternoon. These are kind of irrelevant. You want to take these Mondays, anything from sort of Wednesday through to Friday, really. Friday mornings. RSIs, we looked at this morning. It's absolutely dead, absolutely flat. There's nothing moving. So we have got movement, obviously, But from an RSI perspective, it's either undoing moves from earlier on this week or everything is just sitting around sideways. So we are starting to move a little bit more sideways now. There's no extensions. You can see obviously all the extensions and the alerts on here that we had this week are all playing out basically. So this is why the dashboard's dead. So there's nothing really to look at there. The things that are getting close at the moment are the New Zealand Swiss and New Zealand yen. So from a 4-hour perspective, we are very, very close to an alert on that. In fact, you may have had an alert on the 70 there, but not great. It is coming down. So New Zealand yen, New Zealand Swiss really are the only two on the 4-hour. There's nothing getting close to 20s at all or anything there, or 30s even. So nothing else really going to signal today. Aussie New Zealand potentially might. We're going to need a hell of a strike down on that. But your hourly is pretty much the same story. Not a lot. 35 on Euro New Zealand. So that one is getting close-ish. So potentially you might get a signal on the hourly on that. Maybe. That's it. 70 New Zealand dollar yen. So again, it's the same thing. New Zealand dollar yen, that's just about to alert. New Zealand dollar Swiss probably as well. Yeah, 71. So same thing. So New Zealand Swiss and New Zealand yen really the only two opportunities you've got for getting into something new today, but not great. This is potentially a nice little pullback for a short. We have just had a reverse alert along those, so it could obviously just pull back and continue to that side. One of them two is probably going to happen. Oil today, we've got a nice rally on oil. It is pulling back a little bit at the moment, but we pushed straight back up into that propulsion gap, broke that low, and they seem to be wanting to add more size. So I'll be watching this area for potential bounces back up long. Right. So triggered short on the NASDAQ, still no trade on the S&P. Very close. So that 10-minute range is just under 15% of ADR. So in the next 40 seconds, I need this candle down here. If not, there's going to be no trade on the S&P today unless we push and get a 30-minute range break. Short NASDAQ, and looks like we're about to trigger short on the Dow. So NAS is definitely triggered, but can't quite get that Dow on. Afternoon, Plowman. Afternoon, Virginia. How we doing? That's hot coffee. Ouch. Okay, 5 seconds. So there's no trade on the S&P. Gap down there. So there's your news. No, sorry, it's not your news, is it? 15 minutes yet. Little gap down there on the Dow there. That really jumped down there. Very volatile. Seems really volatile today. A lot of volume coming in, a lot of speed. So Dow Jones to the downside. Let's have a look at targets. That's pretty good. Obviously, that is your high from Thursday. We tapped into it in Globex, tapped into it just before the open. We tested it as well. So downside target, if that does break down to the downside and go, looks pretty good. We got these propulsion gaps to the downside as well. But I mean, it's going to have to push some to get there. It's going to have to be over an ADR. The NASDAQ, yeah, easy. So we've got to break that little area of resistance there from from Thursday, from late Thursday. So that's after the New York breakout yesterday, the one that tapped me out just before it flew. So obviously you've got a couple of highs, this being the main one here as a downside target. So basically that high there, that's all clear air until we come up to here. So if we break that area and that area, you're coming down into here. So this propulsion gap here is a really good target to the downside today. But it doesn't look like it wants to go, does it, at the moment? Very odd move at the open. Very odd. Nasdaq's putting back inside range. So we're rejecting the breakout on the Nasdaq at the moment. But I would say if we stay inside bar on this second 5-minute candle, we're just kind of accumulating. So could go either way from there. See where we go. Anybody got any pairs they want to look at specifically, FX wise, or anything else they want to look at? I'm not going to go through everything this afternoon. There's no RSI extensions. There's not really anything to look at particularly. All the exposure I've got on is still kind of on, really. EuroCAD's pushing back up a little bit. Euro pound, that's a sentiment trade that I've got on. Still there. See if there's anything come up to any decent levels, really. All very sideways now. This week's been very nondescript. Not an awful lot happening this week. Pound yen's a good triple top. So we've been stuck up here for the last 5 or 6 hours, unable to get through that level, but obviously it's not dropping either. Good propulsion target to the downside as well. And obviously it's kind of an expanding, sort of expanding wedge. It's more of a, I don't know what that is. It's just a mess, isn't it, really? But that high, if that rejects, nice easy ADR to the downside available there. Bang in the middle of range. Good potential short if we're going to carry on market structure to the downside. Nicely extended. It's all just chops this week. It's just not really going anywhere. Trump screwed up everything and by putting that silly move in, didn't he? I'm going to sack Powell. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Make your mind up. Obviously thought about it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have hit the news, would it? A little bit out of the ordinary, but I'd like to see Goog. Good luck. I haven't got Goog. Sorry. Can't help you on that one. Afternoon, noob. Afternoon, Met. Or morning, wherever you are. Might have Goog in here. Let's have a look. No, I haven't got any stocks. Nope. No stocks. Don't do stocks in CFDs. Can't help you on that one. I read a really interesting article yesterday. Just going off tangent while we're waiting for this to do something. Dow's breaking down now. Market structure on the Nasdaq looks like it might be short. Very whippy though. I mean, at the moment it's really just a range, but the Dow obviously is dragging down, so more likely they're going to want to be dragged with it. I used to run a web design company basically, and we did an awful lot of SEO work for customers and paid search work for customers. obviously just trying to get them to the top of Google searches for certain keywords, etc., etc. And that's basically how the internet has worked for the last sort of 35 years, basically. You've got Google, who basically crawled websites, found all the information and brought back search results for you. Their job was to give you the best search results possible. So what was that? That was a big order just came in there. Big sell order. So basically that's the way the web has worked for the last 35 years. We have obviously there's a company called Cloudflare, basically, and the managing director or the CEO of Cloudflare, basically they are a kind of a firewall, if you like, hosting company. So they stop crawlers, all that sort of stuff, from scraping websites, all that sort of stuff. But they have an awful lot of data on visitor numbers and where visitors come from. And the data they have shows that the web traffic to websites has dropped by around about 70% in the last 6 months. So basically what is happening is when you do a search for something at the moment, I don't know, actor that played parts in movies in the 80s. Yeah, that's a really bad example. Just trying to think of something. Okay, how to convert a garage into a room. Right? That's a really bad example as well. Why is it not working today? Typical. Getting videos now. I can't think of an example off the top of my head at all. But basically what he was saying was, what they've seen is over the last 6 months since Gemini launched, they've seen a drop in internet web traffic, visitors to people's websites of 70%. They're forecasting that to be 90% within the next 6 months. And basically what's happened on the internet now is, and this is where AI is becoming a bit of a pain in the backside. When you do a search for something now on your phone or in a web browser, normally something that works, but this is, pick two examples that didn't work. You get the AI answer come up here. So basically what Google is doing now is whenever you do a search, it is scraping data from all the websites on the internet, amalgamating all that information into one answer, which it supplies here. So in the past, if you were a company that used to sell, I don't know, flooring or something, you would have a load of articles on your website which taught people about flooring, how to install flooring, what the different types of flooring were, all the information basically that would attract people in that are looking to lay flooring in their house. You would also then sell flooring. So when they were reading this information, your website would be trying to grab their information, grab their email address, sell them something, get an inquiry, whatever it was. That's how SEO and marketing works. You used to run paid ads and drive people to pages about information they're interested in. What's happening now is when you do a search for something, you get AI come up here and give you all the information you need from all of these websites. So what it means is you don't need to visit websites anymore. So when you do searches on Google now, the people that create content don't get any visitors. Yeah. What they do is they give the content to Google for free. It then tells the people out there what they want. And if they don't want that, they scroll down and they get some videos, which goes to YouTube, which they get paid advertising for, or you get paid adverts which appear, which Google takes a revenue from. So what Google has done has killed the internet. What's the point in creating a website and putting content on it if all that's going to happen is AI is going to scrape it and give people the answer without sending anybody to your website? So all the revenue streams for business now, advertising, affiliates, just fame of getting traffic is gone with AI. This is a really bad example. I'm just trying to think of something. I can't think of anything to search for at the moment. Why is Gemini turned off? Have I got it turned off or something? It's like it's vanished from the internet. What? Somebody think of something to, I don't know, search for. Why is Gemini gone? It seems to have completely vanished. It's completely unproving the point that this guy was saying. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything to search for. Okay, what is market structure and how do you trade it? Right. So this is a good example for me, for example, for flooring. I would write an article about this or create a video about this, put it on my website to attract people to my website, teach them about market structure. Gemini's obviously broken or turned off or something's gone wrong. I've got something turned off on here. But what normally happens, I did this on my phone yesterday, nothing but Gemini came up. Nothing but Gemini. Right? It comes up with Gemini here. Then it comes up with videos and adverts. I've got my ad blocker on, haven't I? There you go. Let me turn ad blocker off and do that again. I wonder if Gemini is being treated like an ad. I might have to, I don't know, hard refresh that. But anyway, it's completely disproving my point. How many taxes you have to pay? What taxes do traders have to pay? Right, there we go. So now it's turned off, the ad blocker. This is what you get. You pay capital gains tax if you're self-employed, sole trader, da-da-da-da-da. Brilliant, I've answered the question. Then my point is, my question is now answered. What you used to do 6 months ago was go to that website, read the information. Now, this website has received a visitor. This website now has an opportunity to convert this visitor either into an inquiry, show it an advert to earn some revenue, or send it to another area of its website to keep hold of that visitor, keep hold of that traffic. Yeah. What's happening now when you do anything on search is the information from this website is now displayed to you and from all other websites down here that are relevant without you needing to visit these people's websites. Yeah. This is a bad example because it's non-commercial. So how to convert a garage into a habitable room, for example. It's not doing it again, look. Now my ads are back at least. But I don't know what's, maybe this browser's, I don't know what this browser, but when I did all this yesterday, you just get AI. So there's a way to obviously disable, look, my ad blocker's turned back on again. Something wrong with my ad blocker. Why is my ad blocker suddenly turn itself back on again? I can't turn it off, look. Off. On, off, refresh, on. Right, well, I can't prove my point. Anyway, you go and do this without an ad blocker and you see what happens. Anyway, that was a pointless conversation, wasn't it? Because I can't prove my point. But the point is basically all businesses on the web that create content are now obsolete. They don't exist. There's no point. You're never going to go to a website ever again because Google is just going to give you all the information via AI. So AI basically is already taking over the world. We just don't know it. It is killing every business on the planet. We just don't know it. Anyway, that was basically the point of that article. I'll shut up now. I don't mean you should public your earnings, but I asked the same question and get the result. I don't know what you mean. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me do a incognito. How to convert a garage into a room. Go away. Something's not right. Gemini's not working. Have you got to turn it on or something? It's not working. Gemini's not there. Weird. Anyway, go and do it yourself. University of Michigan numbers are out. 61.8 on a 61.5, ever so slightly positive. But basically kind of as expected, but slightly positive. So yeah, if you are a content creator of any kind, might as well just stop because there's no point because Google's not going to show you the content. The other thing that was interesting about that was when you do this search and you get this Gemini result come up, if you expand it and it's a long-winded one, like the one I was doing, which was doing a garage conversion, I don't know why it's not working now, but what it did was it gave me a little breakdown of how to do it with a read more, which expanded out. And that went all the way down the page. Literally, I don't know how long it was, but it was really long, step by step, planning what equipment you need, what materials you'll need, how to do the measurements, who you could employ to do it. It went through incredible detail, but also there was videos in there that it extracted content from. And those videos were only 15 to 20 second snippets of videos. So not only are they taking all the traffic away from websites, the videos that they show you are only portions of the video that are relevant to what that inquiry is that you've done. So if I create a 5 or 15 minute piece of video content, it will only show them that tiny little part of my content in that video, and it will automatically pause it so I don't watch the entire video. Therefore, you do not earn any revenue from YouTube watchers either. So basically, they're taking all of the capital out of every search and forcing you either down the advert route or to trust AI. So anyway, that was the upshot of it. And it's very interesting to see how AI is sort of affecting businesses at the moment, because it's one of those things where if you've got any kind of information out there, there is no point. Like Wikipedia, Reddit, their visitor numbers are down through the floor because all the AIs are doing is scraping all the information from reputable sources, Wikipedia, Reddit, mashing it all together and giving you the result. You're never going to visit Wikipedia or Reddit anymore. You don't need to, because AI is going to summarize everything it knows and put it on the screen for you. What's going to happen to those websites? We don't need them anymore, do we? But that begs the question, if content creators stop creating content, what is going to feed AI? AI is going to suddenly stop and not become any more intelligent than it is right now. Because if we stop creating content, it can't absorb it. That was the argument. So interesting, isn't it? At least it's not taken over the trading world. Triggered long on an S&P trade and about to stop out on it. Market is breaking down. Hopefully, we'll get a break short. Afternoon, Pot DJ. How we doing? Stopped out NASDAQ long, flipping short. If I can get to $1,000 today, I think I might call it a day. It's one of those days where it's frustratingly choppy, and it has been all day. So it is Friday. So if I can stick $1,000 in the bank on a Friday, I shall be more than happy. $3,000 loss yesterday. First losing day for 7 days. So couldn't do anything with yesterday. I didn't cover it yesterday. I covered it this morning in the live room. I will cover it for you guys now as well. What happened yesterday? The NASDAQ. So this is the unluckiest trade on the planet, right? This is the open. This is yesterday, yeah? So this is the opening range breakout there. Okay, so there's your ORB candle. 5-minute inside bar, 15-minute break to the upside. Beautiful. Took it long. Just got to 20% of ADR. Trailing stop kicks in. Yeah, puts a break even on. Pulls back, takes my trailing stop out in the propulsion gap. Off it goes. So I made a $3,000 loss yesterday. If I'd have had my trailing stop set to anything but 20%, if I'd set it to 25% or 30%, which is what I normally have it on 30, that wouldn't have triggered, and that would have been a $4,500 trade, which puts me 1,500 quid up yesterday. So the difference between a 1,500 win and a $3,000 loss is 0.1% of average daily range, or 10% of average daily range. Criminal. The most unlucky stop out of the week. Nothing you can do. Don't want to look at the FTSE, do we? Just had an alert go off. 125 ADR on New Zealand CAD. Okay, so that's coming up into that previous weekly level there, which is your 2-week low here. So it's been chopped around a bit. Did respect it a couple of times, but not the greatest resistance in the world. But you are coming up to obviously 125 ADR. You've got an hourly RSI extension. You're coming up to potential resistance there. So potentially a pullback into propulsion. So there's a short opportunity there. Your reversal alert, we've had 20 minutes of solid buying. So your reversal alert's quite far down here in this propulsion gap. So look for that kind of M pattern reversal, potentially. Nice rejection going on at 125 ADR as well. Okay, I'm just gonna adjust these targets today. I'm not gonna get greedy today. It's Friday, so I'm gonna test this propulsion gap. If we can break down into there, I'll take it. Dow Jones. I'm just going to move it up. We can get down into here. Just worried about it bouncing out of that area there. This is Wednesday's high, I think. Yeah. So that's Wednesday's high. So if we do break down, there's potential for a bounce there, i.e. just pull back or continuation, whichever. S&P are put in place. NASDAQ, that's fine. Stalling out a bit, though, everywhere at the minute. There you go. Brian sent a screenshot. I don't know why my Gemini's not working. For some reason, it's not working. That's what I'm talking about. Look, how to trade market structure. Yeah. So what you get now is basically this is Search Labs, but this. Click that expands down and it gives you all the information which is aggregated from all of the websites. So it will come from Reddit, it will come from my website, it will come from Baby Pips, it will come from Wikipedia or Investopedia, from website content that it's found elsewhere. It will come from videos, it comes from all over the web, right? But how to trade market structure, basically, you do not visit websites anymore because this will give you a complete breakdown step by step of what it is, how to do it, and it will give you all the information sources. This is what I was talking about with these videos, look. Yeah, so what it's done for this guy's video and this guy's video is it's gone all the way through the video to find the relevant parts and it will start playing the video from there. So what you also do not do now, because this content will be in here, is you do not visit YouTube to watch this guy's video. Therefore, you do not subscribe to his channel. You do not see any of his other content. You do not get any of the upsells you get on video on YouTube when you go there. So you don't visit that anymore. You don't visit this anymore. You don't visit any of the websites down there anymore. And first of all, you do not click on any ads. So you don't get any traffic. You can't pay for traffic anymore. You just get told what to do and you have to believe it's right. Yeah, and this is what the CEO was talking about. If we're feeding AI and these AI companies all of this information, what are we? Basically, we are food. So everybody that creates content on the planet is just food for AI. And AI is going to get rich serving that food back to us. So if we start feeding it shit, it's going to give us back shit, basically. YouTube have just put a ban on AI content earning revenue. So there are thousands and thousands of videos a day being created by AI with AI scripts using AI characters to go and talk to you on YouTube about any subject. Yeah, so I can create a video using AI with an AI avatar, and it will write the script for me, create the video, and I can put it online. I don't even have to write content anymore. But that content is then getting absorbed by AI. AI is feeding itself its own stuff. If AI starts spurting crap out, AI is going to get more crap, and it's all going to spiral downhill. Yeah, this is the danger with this at the moment. We are adopting this at a rate we've never seen before. In the last 6 months, 70% of traffic has vanished from the internet. Yeah, because we don't need it anymore. What's going to happen in the next 6 months? What's going to happen in the 6 months after that? Yeah, we've got super intelligence now already. We've just had, I think it was 400 billion investment from Meta into a compute superstructure the size of Manhattan to create and develop super intelligence. We're feeding it crap. How super intelligently crap is it going to be? Worrying, isn't it? Yeah, all the jobs that used to be out there are just gone now. Yeah, web design, gone. Programming, gone. Anything to do with digital, gone. Yeah, IT support, gone. Ask Google. Gemini will tell you what's wrong. In fact, you've got AI engineer support now that will fix it for you. There's remote support with AI that will fix your computer. You just don't need it. What it does need, as Firechrist just said, is regulation. But the problem with regulating something like this is you can't. It's out the box. Yeah, because AI learning models are all independent. It's out there. What are you going to do? How can you regulate something that everybody on the planet owns? You can't. Worrying, isn't it? Up 700. I'm toying with closing some of this out because it's Friday. Although it's Friday, it could just run all day, couldn't it? We'll see. Does that apply to other web browsers like Safari? Well, it's if you're logged into a Google account, yeah. I'm just trying to. I just can't understand why mine is not working, even in incognito. I wonder if incognito doesn't have AI. I mean, you're not logged in, so I guess it probably wouldn't. I don't know why mine's not working though. That's just the weird thing. I must have it disabled somehow on this browser, but I don't know. Anyway, you get the point. But if the CEO of Cloudflare, who there are 4 billion turnover business, largest basically hosting provider on the planet. If people like that are getting worried about it now, there's a problem, isn't there? Yeah, they're worried about basically the end of the internet. There's no need for the internet if you've got AI. Why would you need to turn on a computer? Pick this up, ask it, get it to do it. You've got AIs now that can handle your entire life, basically. If you go onto NA10, NA10 is a sort of, I don't know what you would call it. It's workflow automation, basically, for technical teams, as it says there. But with NA10, you can create anything. So I can basically create an AI agent and teach it what I do every day in my life and get it to do it for me. So why do I need me? Because basically I spend my life looking through Facebook, looking at videos about trading, coding, and reading my emails. I can program this to do all of that for me and then just come back with a very small piece of information for me about what I've done today. I don't need to code anymore. I've just built an AI that codes for me. Everybody's redundant, aren't they? We're all redundant. We're all dead. That's it. What's the point in us? What's the point in human beings anymore? Probably become stressed as you have now moved. It can't find me. What my browser? Do you know what my browser location? What if I let's do that again? My browser location keeps coming up in different places. It's got me in a completely different place to where I live now. Yesterday, it had me in London. I've got a feeling my internet provider's kind of one of those all over the place IP address type of internet providers. I don't seem to be in the same place 2 days in a row at the moment. But anyway. Okay. Up 1600. Partial close going in on the S&P. I'm going to take a partial on the Dow. I'm going to take partials on everything. Let's get the day over the line in profit. So 2.5 minutes, partial close is going in. Just move that up so I get a partial on everything. Quite a big, strong push down. So on all three, we're coming into buy areas. So we might find we get a little bit of a pushback from here. Why does it not come up with Bing? Bing, where are you? Bing? Bing? Nobody uses Bing. Why does it come up with maps? You're going to search Bing now, aren't you? Yeah, there we go. Ooh, what's going on there? Oh, no, I didn't make it my default, did I? Accidentally made Bing my default. It does that. It goes, here's a pop-up. Click it. Oh, crap. Yeah, here we go. Bing do it as well. Right. This is another great example of Bing search engine. I don't use this. So this is vanilla, straight out of the box installation. So I've asked how to lay flooring on concrete. To lay flooring on concrete, follow these steps. Prepare the surface with an image. Yeah. Choose the right flooring. Install a moisture barrier. Lay the flooring and finishing touches. But you see all these links, these two websites, WikiHow and Factory Direct Flooring, do not get my traffic anymore. They have articles about how to lay flooring, but I don't need them anymore. Choosing the right flooring. Floor Techie and Factory Flooring Direct. Again, this guy, how to lay flooring on concrete, has written an article about how to do this, but no longer visitors. Lay the flooring from Floor Techie, and there's a step-by-step guide from some other website, and finishing touches from Constructil and Direct Flooring. So, it gives you all the sources that it's got the information from. But all I wanted to know was how to lay flooring on concrete. I now know how to do it. These guys are not getting my business anymore. I don't know about them. It's all about brand awareness, writing all this content, isn't it? You write content to get people onto your website. Now they've heard of your website. All I know now is how to do what I've asked to do, but I have no idea who's helped me get that information. AI has. That's nice. An AI preview of their website. That's cool. Who are these guys? That is a stereotypical DIY firm, isn't it? Okay, so it works in Bing as well. This is Copilot, obviously. My friend. Hey, Lee, what's on your mind today? What's on my mind? How did you know my name? I've never used Bing. How do you know who I am? You've shared it with me before in our conversation history. I've never spoken to you. It's watching me. I remember important details like that so I can be more helpful. and personal in our chats. If you'd if you'd ever like me to forget something, just say so. I'm here to respect your preferences. Spooky. I didn't get a partial on the S&P. Right, I'm going to let the S&P run with a break-even stop. I'll move that partial down now. Go for a big run on it, shall we? There's a weekly high there. That's probably not the best thing to do. We're tapping right into this area here at the minute. So yeah, that'll either stop out, break even, or I'll get a really nice run on that and a nice big profit out of that this afternoon. NASDAQ, partial taken, runner on, break even. Dow, partial. Whoops, wrong stop loss, break even. So these will either trail or not. So 500 banked, guaranteed, can't lose. Everything's at break even. See where we go. Seems heavy, didn't it? See if we can get more out of it today. Afternoon, Harold. Tell him you never chat with him. I know, it's bizarre, isn't it? What have you sent me, Brian? That's what you see when you go into Google. Brian's been listening to Up All Night and Evanescence. I know what Brian's taste in music is now. AI mode. I think that's what you were showing me, innit? What's that? I haven't got that. I reckon there's something I need to customize. It's not in there, is it? But there's probably a way to turn things on and off and stuff, isn't there? That I've obviously got turned on because I did all this. I was showing the wife this yesterday on my tablet, not my tablet, my laptop. My laptop is different, so it's definitely a browser thing, a localized browser thing. Very odd. AI mode is on the right of the search bar. Yeah, we don't have that here. It may be a testing thing. You're part of a testing group. Don't tell it anything. It knows. It's amazing what they know. Still dropping. Be nice to get yesterday's loss back in full today. We are in free fall by the looks of things. Very little pullback so far. $700. About $1,000, isn't it? That will be worth about $750 as a partial close there. So I'm just going to take it on the top of that weekly if it gets there. Scary. So basically what I've been doing with this website that I've been kind of co-working on is we've built an AI coder for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5. So basically there's a lot of ways you can code your own EAs. We've done it in the member stream. But it's about being specific with prompting that is what most people struggle with. So what we've built on this website is a specific AI interface which queries the 4.1 ChatGPT model, which is the one that's best at programming. And we've trained an AI agent to be purely MT4 and MT5 focused. So everything you put into the chat box about building an indicator or an EA, it only thinks as a MetaTrader 4 or 5 programmer. So basically it codes for you. So it's basically you tell it a strategy or you tell it what you want out of an indicator and it will build it for you. But it doesn't make all the cock-ups that all the other AI general models do, because it's trained to program properly. It's trained what goes wrong in MetaTrader 4 and 5. It's trained what you need as best practice in MetaTrader 4 and 5. So it's much better at its job. It still has compilation errors, which is fine, but there's a box you can put compilation errors into it and immediately fixes them. So if you do get compilation errors first time round, it fixed on the second attempt. So we've built that basically, which we're testing at the moment, but I have to say it's unbelievable. There's nothing I can't build with it. Any strategy you can automate pretty much with it. The more complex it is and the more complex indicators it uses, obviously it's a lot harder. But I've built, while we've been testing, I've built 3 of my own strategies into EAs. And I would say they're probably 80-90% as good as the ones I built manually myself. So, it's the end of coding, basically. Anybody that is making a living selling EAs or indicators, unlucky, it's free now. That business model's gone. So what you're going to find is a lot of people, I think, who are making money selling stuff to do with that. I mean, I sell indicators and EAs, but I support them, which is what basically the selling part is me, basically. But that business model's gone. I don't know what's going to happen to MQL5, because 80% of MQL5's revenue comes from the marketplace. What's the point in buying anything off the marketplace? Build it. So what you're going to find is, I think a lot of people are going to suddenly become very contracted about their strategies, and they're not going to tell you what their strategies are, because basically you can automate any strategy within 10 minutes now. So it's a really good tool, really good tool. Been working on it for the last sort of, well, I wasn't working on it on Wednesday because my internet went down, but apart from Wednesday, I've been working on it all week. And we're kind of 80% there, I think. So yes, it's going to be interesting. It's totally revolutionizing everything. I've also been working on an AI deep research model, so you can feed it data. I don't think I've got any of it here. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah. So I've got an EA basically that extracts data, and it can analyze it. So this is the P&L of a signal on MetaTrader, on MQL5. Yeah. So this is all of their trades. I've built an AI model that basically can take this information, every trade this strategy's ever done, spend about 10 or 15 minutes in thinking mode, which is not cheap, but it uses 3.0, which is like the thinker AI. And it will basically backwards engineer this and come up with a strategy that took these trades. So it will look at all the trades, what happened before the trades over time, and analyze whether it was an indicator that probably generated it or whether it was price movement that probably generated it. And then it will build an EA to replicate this strategy. So if you ever see an EA on MetaTrader on MQL5 that you think, oh, I like the look of that one, if they've got a signal, we've built an EA model that will download the signal, analyze the signal results, come up with the strategy, and build an EA to backtest the strategy for you. 15 minutes it takes. 15 minutes. Unbelievable what this thing's going to be able to do in about 3 years' time. I don't think we'll be here anymore. 3 months' time, probably. You should let AI trade for a week. Yes. Now, that is something I have tried to do. I've used it to... I've used the ChatGPT 3.0 as an analyst to detect price pattern similarities, which is basically feeding it charts. So I've got an EA which I created, which took a screenshot of every day, a bit like the opening range breakout does, or the SIH does. One of them takes screenshots for you. And you've basically fed it all the screenshots and said, go and find me price patterns in all of these. And it goes off and it does all the analysis on the charts for you and comes back with price patterns. And I basically asked it to say, look at the distance of these and come up with a risk reward ratio and an entry time and all that sort of stuff. And it does it all really, really well. But all it's doing is a back test. It still can't trade. It can execute a strategy. I have an AI. This is basically an AI, isn't it? It's an artificial intelligence. It's programmed to do one specific thing. If I said to it, you decide on what the range is going to be today, you decide on what the stop loss is going to be today, you decide when to kick the trailing stop in, all it's going to do is pick a parameter from backward history, back testing, and it's going to choose one of them. That's what I do. Yeah. So on this one, I've decided to choose a trailing stop of 30% of ADR. On this one, I've decided to choose a trailing stop of 20% of ADR. Yeah. It still doesn't know what the future is, and it still doesn't know how to trade it because it can't know the future. Neither can we. I can find price patterns all over the place that repeat themselves constantly. This is basically what this strategy is. It's me having analyzed this over many, many years and come up with the strategy that's right to trade. AI can't do this because it doesn't know whether it's, I made the decision to get out there and get out there. It was wrong there. It was right there. Here, I'm glad I didn't take it. But if this thing now comes all the way back up there, I should have closed it there. In fact, I am going to close it there because I just want to bank the money out of the S&P. Why does that stop ticking? So Grand Bank. There we go. Done. So yeah, it's letting AI make the decisions about trading isn't really going to be possible because a trade is one person and another person having a differing opinion, being able to exchange their sell and their buy order to make a trade happen. If you get AI trading against itself with a job of making profit, it's obviously you're not going to trade in that direction if that's the direction to go. So all you're going to do is get everybody, all the AIs going the same way, aren't you? It's not going to work. I don't know how they're going to employ it. I've got AI, this new website, again, it's got a lot of AI tools in it. So it's got an AI news analysis. It's got AI fundamental analysis. It's got AI account analysis. So this little thing you see down here is feeding my account to the website. AI is analyzing my account and telling me my strengths and weaknesses on my trading. So this website has the facility for AI analysis of your trading history. So it will say, you're doing really well on this. You're doing really well on this. This is one of the areas you're struggling with. Why don't you try doing this instead of doing that? And it will analyze all your trading history and give you a best practice, best pointers. The thing that AI doesn't know is your strategy. So it might say from this, because this is a position trading account, it might say your strike rate is amazing at 79%, but you keep incrementing your lot size, which is bad risk management. Try and keep your lot size the same. No, because the whole edge of my strategy is when we're extended and price moves beyond the extension I was expecting the reversal to happen is I want to scale in harder to keep price closer to my entry price. It doesn't know that. So it will give you an analysis that is right from its perspective without knowing your strategy. So next step in that is teaching the AI your strategy and then getting it to analyze the results. And then it will be able to tell you where you're going wrong with your strategy. But the problem with that is if your strategy is crap in the first place, all it's going to give you is information on how to make your strategy crapper. Not going to work. There's lots and lots of ways you can make AI work for you, but in developing this website with these guys, we've used AI a lot and all the different models. And it's given me a really good insight into what AI is currently capable of doing. And it's absolutely phenomenal automation and deep research. It's great at coming out with blurb and information, but actually doing things that will make you money, that edge is not there yet. because you can feed it all the best strategies in the world, but it still doesn't know what the future holds. So all it can do is manage risk according to previous historical patterns. And that's all we do every day anyway, isn't it? If you say, look at support resistance, propulsion gaps, and say this is where price often moves, it will look back and go, you're right. So what's it going to do? The same thing as we do, isn't it? Sell when you get to a propulsion gap, or buy when you get to a propulsion gap, stick your stop below the low and put a risk reward which is positive on it. I can do that. Don't need AI to do it for me. I can build an EA to do that, or get AI to build me an EA in 5 minutes to do that. But it's got to autonomously come up with this decision, and I don't think it's there yet. Check out Base 44, builds anything with a prompt. There's thousands of them. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of websites that will build anything with a prompt. But the one that we've built is a MT4, MT5 coding expert. Yeah, the problem with all the other AI models out there, right? So I've built EAs, and I started using it to help me build EAs, and I've used it to build EAs. I've used Cody from SourceForge. I've used ChatGPT. I've used Anthropic, Claude. I've used loads of them. The problem is with all of them, they're really, really good until they're not. And you end up getting into this blockade where you go around in circles. And I built an EA for MT4 that did a specific thing. I then asked it to add a new feature into it for MT4. We were coding in MT4. The context was MT4. It built the whole thing in MT4 for me. Okay, then it sent me back a load of code, and I looked at it and went, there's MT5 logic in there. I said, why have you included MT5 logic in this code? He went, you're right. We want to code this for MT4, don't we? We've been having a conversation for half an hour about building something in MT4, and you've suddenly gone off on a tangent into MT5? That's because you're an idiot. Because you're not specifically designed to do the one thing I've asked you to do. You're thinking all over the place, grabbing information from everywhere. What we've built, if the words MT4 are in that thing, it will not have MT5 in it. So we've built a language model that concentrates, and the agentic AI has history that concentrates specifically on what the initial project is. It will not go variant from it. So it's much better at doing it. But it still makes mistakes. You know, there isn't an AI out there that doesn't make mistakes because it's got too much info. Imagine reading every book on trading and reading every strategy there is on trading out there, and then looking at a chart. You're not going to know what to do because you've got 1,000 things. You've read every strategy. One of the strategies says that this is a head and shoulders pattern forming and you need to go short. The other strategies told you that this is a propulsion gap bounce and you need to go long. Another strategies told you that the higher high and the higher low of the last 3 bars means you just need to buy it. Another strategy is saying, hang on a minute, you're up at ADR. You want to go short because you've had a reversal alert. Another strategy is telling you that the RSI is flat and you shouldn't be trading at all. What do? You've got too much information. That's AI. It's got way too much information. At the end of the day, you press the buy or the sell button, you use risk and reward to make money. I don't know whether every single one of those strategies I just said is valid. Which is the one you want to do today? That's your choice, isn't it? If you let AI make that choice, it will also pick one of those 5 strategies for you. Yeah. That's the problem with all these builders out there. They are great, but they are also very stupid at times. You get stuck. You just get this hurdle. Like, it's the whole prompting thing. There's people out there now that have built websites for prompting. Yeah. So you can subscribe to a website that specializes in using AI to generate prompts for AI, because human beings don't understand properly how to talk to AI at the moment. So you say to an AI, I need to do this. Create me a prompt for AI that will achieve this in the best way. And it will go, right, me being an AI, if I was a stupid one, I would need to make sure that I don't say this, do say all of this. And it comes up with a huge piece of A4 paper, which is one prompt. You put that into AI and it goes, I know what you want now. So you have to go to AI to ask it how to prompt itself to do what you want. But this is all going to get way, way, way better, isn't it? With the learning models, they're all going to get better and better and better and better until hopefully you just say, right, I've just lost my job. I need to start a business online. think up a business for me, research all the competitors, find me a marketing plan, create all the graphics for the marketing and come up with a copy, set up the accounts on all the marketing websites, estimate how much I need to spend on it, build the website, make sure you plug it into a payment processor, let me know which one and I'll go and sign up for it, and then press the button, please. 10 minutes later, you'll have a business. How long? Probably in about 3 months, I reckon. It's not true AI. You have a LLM AI. We need to wait for AGI. Yeah. But, there's all of these models are getting cleverer and cleverer and cleverer. And they've far surpassed us, haven't they, as humans? Way cleverer than us. Some of the stuff that I've got AI to do, I look at it and think, wouldn't have even thought of the way that you've done that, because it's far superior, because it's got everything under the sun, isn't it? It's got every piece of information out there. Afternoon, Yusuf. How are we doing? Long time since you've been here. I have noticed. Welcome back. We're just talking about AI. Seeing if we can find a way to make millions of pounds with it. See, if AI was that clever, it would have told me, don't get out there. Wait, keep going. Silly AI. Locking in a bit more profit. But anyway, so I will let you know when that tool is out. I'm going to do a stream for the members on it at some point next week, I hope. I was meant to do it on Wednesday, but as it happened, my internet went down, and I'm glad it did, because the EA builder or indicator builder part of it wasn't actually out, and now it is. So that'll be good. In 50% chance, I don't think so. Maybe helps with risk management. In 50% chance, I don't think so. Maybe helps with risk management. Yeah. AI, you mean? I think there's a lot of ways you can use it in trading, but to actually make trading decisions for you, it's algorithmic. The thing that I think is going to change, unfortunately, is as more people incorporate AI into their trading, I think we will discover different patterns in the market starting to come out. Because doesn't matter which model you use, really, if you ask it to help you do certain things, there's only a certain number of things you can do in trading. And if banks and institutions adopt AI for quant analyzing and quantitative trading, what we're going to find is all of those models are going to try and do the same thing. So I think the way the market moves and the patterns the market makes on a daily basis are probably going to change. If AI identifies that trading at this time has an edge, and we know it does because that's what we do, it will go, right, we'll stop that edge and we will create a new edge for ourselves at a later stage. And we will change the way we move the market at specific times of day. So you might find the Globex session suddenly becomes really busy because there's more quants trading it and they are making more money during that period, and we get less activity at the open. That's something I think is probably going to change if we do employ that more. The way that things work, the way that things move will change. All this is, every single chart you look at is just a footprint for bank orders. It's just a footprint of what bank and institutional ordering has done. Yeah, every single one of these is a large bank order or an amalgamation of bank orders in one direction. I think the way that this moves will be different. If we change the way that trades are executed in the market, the footprints will change. So we have to adapt to the footprints. This is probably going to become even more important because this is still where they are. So if it changes, you're probably going to find propulsion moves are going to become much more important in the future. Who knows? It might just blow us all up or release a virus and kill us all. You never know. Afternoon, Rajiv. What a move looked like it followed Europe from this morning. Yeah. eventually, I got on the DAX today, so that worked out. But yeah, I don't quite know why it's selling off quite so hard today. It's it's very aggressive. The Dow went 30% of its ADR in literally 5 minutes. So there's nothing in the news that is fear or greed related or fear related in this particular case that I could see from today. I'm just wondering if it's just a case of selling off before the weekend because they're worried about stuff. Oh, just give me the dates. I asked you for the dates. So where's my AI now? I asked you for the triple witching dates in 2025. Why can't you just give them to me? So it's June and September. We're not just wondering. This looks like a triple witching day, doesn't it? Just collapse. I did have a question. The PC and server specs you are using. I don't know. Where'd you see that? Not PC specs. Oh, there you go. Using settings, hit the start menu, and then the gear icon to open settings, choose system. Gear icon. There you go. .32 gig RAM, 12 core, i7. Not that it matters. This is a streaming PC as well, so trading, streaming, doesn't matter. Power, that's all you need. As long as you've got more power than you need. I think all the FX is basically a monetary and fiscal policy. It is, yeah. So, I mean, it's not so much the way that the movement isn't going to change. If the Canadian, this is a bad example, New Zealand dollar CAD, isn't it? Because it's both commodity pairs. But if suddenly the pound starts dropping its interest rates dramatically and the US for some reason starts increasing its interest rates dramatically, obviously this is still going to move down. That is a given. The market valuation of the pound and the US dollar will be determined by policy and determined by economics. The way that it gets from A to B, that is probably going to change. The way that we move on our way to a destination, I think, will change. If it gets more algorithmic, you're going to find less regular and readable price action. But it will just be a case of trying to relearn the new movement. At the end of the day, price is king. That tells me that there's more bears in the last hour than there were bulls in the hour before. Yeah, we have a lower high and a lower low. This is bearish. So we know that the bulls have stopped buying. But we do not know why they've stopped buying. They have either stopped buying so that they can take profit on the leg they've put in so they can add more size, or they've stopped buying because there's no one willing to sell to them, so they have become sellers. At the end of the day, whichever of those is true, no one on the planet can tell me which it is because none of the banks talking to each other and knowing exactly what's going on here. It's a 50-50. It is either that or it is that. So, but I think the way that we get there, if you get more of this in there, that's going to kill everybody. But banks and institutions can recover from that because they can drive price back to different levels. So, that's the thing that may change the way orders are executed. The more algorithmic you get, the more you use AI and the more you use quants to execute orders, the less important price action is, because don't forget, banks have got unlimited capital, which means that they can move price wherever they want to, pretty much whenever they want to, as long as opposite liquidity is available. So they can take price wherever they want. If the guys this afternoon in Barclays want the price up here, they'll move it there. Yeah. If the guys in HSBC want the price down there, they can move it there. If they can't do it because there's an equal force in either direction from both banks, it won't go anywhere. They will realize that's not happening. They will phone each other up and go, OTC transaction up to here, and then I need your opposite order. Yeah? Okay. Barclays will move it up to there. Then HSBC will move it down and Barclays will take the opposite side of their trade over the counter. You can't control that. That's what banking is. But how they do it at the moment, most of it is quantitative. It's being executed by computers, isn't it? If they let AI take over, this is going to change the way this moves. But it's still going to move in line with fundamentals, because there will still be humans looking over AI going, oops, you've done that wrong. We need to adjust the model. And that will, I think, never go away. Humans are still going to be here as long as we haven't been killed off by AI. And need to do this. If we all get killed off by AI, there is no economics anyway, so there's no trading, is there? So computers don't need money, do they? They just need electricity. As soon as they've taken over the power plants and built the robots to run the power plants, that's it. We're doomed. I'm assuming you have a decent PC spec. Good enough. I've got MT4, we can run on pretty much anything. What's your thoughts on EJ? Been selling it since 2 weeks. That's very similar to Swiss yen. I'm out of Swiss yen. You're in a squeeze, basically. So this is going to come down at some point. This leg will have a retracement in the same way as it did there. In the same way as it did there. In the same way as it did there. And in the same way as it did there. Yeah. It's just don't know, you need the yen is really weak at the moment. What we really need is some additional weakness in the yen. In the euro, we need Lagarde to turn around and go, do you know what? We're going to drop interest rates again. And I think she probably will at some point soon. But upside resistance on this, unfortunately, is still kind of 350 ADR from where you are at the moment. So, or not even that actually, is it? Probably looking at 2 ADR. So you're 2 ADR away from upside resistance. This is the yen intervention move. So the Japanese will start piling in soon, hopefully. Yeah, it's a squeeze. It's a nasty squeeze. Same as the Swiss. I got out of the Swiss on Wednesday. Only by getting really aggressive, though. I waited for a strong push and I took the pullback. But just keep your ADR. So make sure your average price is as close, 175 ADR really is if it starts getting 175 ADR away, you need to start getting aggressive to get that closer. We've had a nice reversal alert. Unfortunately, the retest didn't work out. But as long as that high stays intact, which it is at the moment, you're potentially looking at a sort of uneven multi-day M pattern forming. 175 ADR is the nearest propulsion gap, apart from that one. So there's plenty to drop, plenty of drop on it. What a great move. It looked like it followed Europe. Yeah. I'm still on a 2012 MacBook Pro. There you go. You do not need a powerful machine. And also a Mac. Also been looking to change as it's running 2 additional screens and it started to lag. Yes, I'm sure it has. The web browsers are using a lot of RAM. Yeah, that's the problem with, especially Google with Chrome, There you go. So memory usage on that one tab on my website alone is 126 meg. Financial Juice is using 377 meg. Forex Factory calendars using 77 meg, 208 meg on a Google search result. Yeah, so in total there, we're nearly using a gig of RAM by having 4 browser windows open. This thing sucks RAM so much. So important to have a lot of RAM with Chrome. Chrome's absolutely awful at RAM sucking. And also your GUI, obviously Chrome doesn't work graphically, so your graphics card's irrelevant. It's also irrelevant for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5. Yeah, so your graphic card doesn't matter. You don't need a graphics card to run MetaTrader 4 at all. Just use onboard graphics. Much less important for MetaTrader 4. MetaTrader 5 is a bit more GUI intensive, but always get the best computer you can. Future-proof yourself as long as you can. Yusuf, I had a discussion with a mate. He claims that technical is ahead of fundamentals. Yeah, I'm sure he does. Nothing wrong with technicals, nothing wrong with fundamentals. As long as he understands his odds are 50-50 every time he presses a button, that's fine. Doesn't matter how you trade, does it? You don't have to use any of it. If you use one of these charts, yeah, and you never look at that website or that website, you can still make money. Price is going up, buy it. When do you want to sell it? When it gets up here. Why? Because that's where it sold last time. What's the odds of it happening? 50%. If you're a technical trader, you are trading Elliott wave, market structure, support, resistance, something, but you're trading a strategy with a 50% strike rate, 50% odds of it working, aren't you? Means if something looks bearish in a currency, there will be a fundamental explanation after it happens. No. If something's looking bearish in a currency, it's bearish because of the fundamental that's just happened. Or it's bearish because of a fundamental that is coming up that the market has already factored in, which is fundamental analysis, isn't it? So if you look at the New Zealand dollar today, right? Why is the New Zealand dollar rallying today? Because on Monday, we have the CPI number coming out. Yeah, so the market is positioning itself ahead of Monday's CPI figure. That's why it's going up, because they are expecting a result. Now, you don't know whether the market is expecting it to be higher or lower. What the market is forecasting is for it to drop. So your mate may think that he's buying on technicals and the fundamental will explain it later. But right now, are the banks and institutions pulling back for a short? Or are the banks and institutions setting themselves up for a long? One of them is correct, but technicals aren't going to help you. Fundamentals aren't going to help you. Nothing is going to help you because it will be different on Monday to today. So all you have is the ability to press a buy or a sell button and wrap risk around it. I've had this argument for 20 years with people about fundamentals and technicals, which is best, with whether you should use trend lines or not, whether you should use moving averages or not, whether you should be trading on the 5-minute chart or the hourly chart, whether you should forget all of that and only trade the daily chart because that's what the banks look at. I've had every argument under the sun about everything to do with trading. None of them are right. None of them are wrong. It's just a different opinion on a binary outcome. So I've given up arguing with anybody about anything. Everybody tells me that ICT is the best thing on the planet and smart money concepts are making a fortune. Nobody's ever shown me a P&L that makes money. If you can prove to me that something is better than something else, I will do it. But no one has ever proven to me anything because no one has ever come up with any profitable strategy using smart money concepts. Therefore, I do not believe in it. I believe in maths and statistics. The statistics tell me that there is a binary outcome to every single trade. That's all I know. I cannot see the future. No one's told me that they've got a time machine yet. So therefore, I can't use future to predict price movement. All I have is the past. And the past tells me that price moves down and then pulls back by roughly 50% of it, 90% of the time. So I use market structure because that's all I can see works. whether it's caused by fundamentals, whether it's caused by technicals, whether it's caused by herd mentality, individual banks, groups of banks, an algorithm programmed by a guy living in America who claims he knows how this thing works from the inside. I don't care. This thing will go up or down when I press the button. That is all I have. So I build strategies in EAs to automate trading statistical probability. Because as far as I'm concerned, you can shove fundamentals and technicals up your backside. I believe in fundamentals. That's only because I know people that work in banks and they've told me that that's why they trade the way they trade. So I can only go with the people who've told me this. If you've never met anybody that's worked in Barclays for all their life, that's worked on a forex trading desk, you don't have the same outlook on the markets as I do. So therefore, you will have a different opinion, a different look. Yeah. If you've tried to trade news using fundamental analysis and it didn't work, you will believe fundamentals don't work. If you've tried to trade Elliott wave and it didn't work out for you, you'll believe that Elliott wave doesn't work. If you've tried everything under the sun and none of it works, you'll believe that trading's impossible to crack. I'm sitting here proving it's not. So a lot of other people. But it doesn't matter what you believe in, because what you believe in is irrelevant because it changes. So if you believe the dollar is going up because inflation is not going to go down, it's continuously moving upwards. Therefore, the price of the interest rate is going to stay where it is. That means that it's going to be neutral to bullish for the dollar. If you believe in fundamentals. But if you look at the pound US dollar at the moment, and you're looking at an hourly time frame, you will believe that you should be selling. If you're a trend trader, if you're a mean reversion trader, you'll believe you should be buying. Yeah. If you're a range trader, you're waiting for that range to break so that you can take a trade. But it doesn't matter what you do. On Monday, Trump's going to open his mouth and it will do that or that. Or the Chancellor in the UK will resign and the pound will collapse. Or the Chancellor in the UK will say, I'm dropping taxes by 20% and the pound will go through the roof. Or, I don't know. But it doesn't matter what you believe, does it? When you've done everything, seen everything, and you've looked at everything, every single technical trader on the planet right now is sitting in their YouTube channel going, this is the best buy on the planet. Look at it. It's a previous resistance been respected 5 times, which turned into a 4-time support. We just bounced at it this week. We're looking at a projection of, Trump opens his mouth on Monday. Technical analysis, rubbish. Fundamental analysis, rubbish. Trump made it move. Doesn't matter what moves it, does it? What you've got to do is wrap risk around it. That's your job. Statistics. Use a positive R strategy. Doesn't matter what it is. You can use a coin flip, the dog throwing up, whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. It's statistics, mathematics. This is the only way to make money in the markets. You just need to find a way to extract money. It's just one of those things you can't get away from. But you won't know that until you've been on the journey. And the journey takes around about 4 or 5 years of trying everything. And then you suddenly go, none of this works. And then you go, right, what does work? Well, I remember that worked. Why did that work? I remember that worked. Why did that work? I remember that worked. Why did that work? You put them all together and you go, oh, they're all completely opposite strategies. But the one thing they've got in common is, and then the penny will drop. What your penny is going to be different to my penny. But what it will be is wrapping risk around price, movement, and understanding patterns. But I guess you call that technical analysis, don't you? I'm a technical analysis guy because I trade support resistance. There's no indicators here. But if I stick indicators on the chart, all they're doing is showing me what I just showed you. I just drew this line on the chart, didn't I? I drew it on the other chart. I drew it here. All I've got is an indicator that draws it for me. But you'll never win the argument with anybody about anything. This is why I've given up doing it, because everybody knows best. Their strategy is always better until it's not. And then they go and find another one. Anyway. Did you try to update Google Chrome? I did do an update on Google Chrome last week, I think. I don't know what version I'm on, but I did. There was that little button that comes up saying update, and I did. I've got a feeling that's running on my laptop, and my laptop shows it. I must be on a different version of Chrome, maybe then. I don't know. IG on a web browser, so will lag. Yeah, don't use web browsers to trade. US has passed a crypto bill, have they? I know he was talking about it. So basically, if you're in the US, you can now put part of your 401k into crypto. Good luck with that. Let's stick all of our money in the most volatile thing on the planet and hope we get the 50-50 right. There's a reason banks and institutions are not investing in crypto. Yeah, it's not stable. This is why they call like fiat currencies stable coins. I don't know. I'm making it up. Right, this is all slowing down now. So I think I'm just going to take the Dow off because we are holding in this propulsion gap quite strong. I will leave the NASDAQ running. I'm just going to slightly tighten up my trailer to 1/4 of an ADR and see if I can get that runner further down for today. There we go. Right, that's all I've got for you today. So good profitable day. Got half roughly of yesterday's loss back, which is fine. So one losing day this week, but it's nice and volatile at the moment. So keep your eyes peeled on, obviously, on the news. There's no more news this afternoon. Trump might turn around and sack Powell. If that happens, the stock markets are going to collapse. So, yeah, there's way more reasons to be short than long at the moment, isn't there? But, just everything at the moment is just moving nicely. So, apart from FX, which is very much the opposite. But all the indices at the moment, very nice and poppy, just not quite doing it exactly the right time every day at the moment. But I'll be back on Monday. Anything you need, let me know. I will definitely have a member stream next week, and we will definitely be looking at the new website that I've been working on. And we'll look at the AI builder. We'll look at what you get basically with it, which is basically there's a load of fundamental analysis and the EA AI builder, which is really, really cool. So we'll go through that, and obviously members, you'll get testing access to it as well at the top level. So there's 3 tiers of access. You'll get the top one, and then just basically, I think they just want you to go and break it. So if you're a member, that will be around next week at some point. Other than that, I'll be back on Monday, and we'll look at where we're going. So bear in mind, if you've got any exposure on New Zealand dollar, this is happening just after 1.5 hours after market open on Sunday. So be aware of that, because obviously we're going to get a fair bit of movement potentially on the New Zealand dollar. Other than that, next week it's PMI week. So good movement potentially next week. So we obviously, depending on what Trump says, good movement every day, innit? All right, so have a good day. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram. Other than that, I'll be back on Monday, and I'll see you then. Have a good weekend.